I've been resistant to like online dating, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a try. We got matched within one day of me being on eHarmony. I think she had been on there for like 2 weeks prior, so not very long either.
I had put together that he was in the Air Force, and I was like, did not want that life. But I remember the first time we talked, I was like, oh, there's a lot more to this person. We talked maybe for 2 hours, but at the end he said, well, I want to drive up and take you on a date, and I will call you in the middle of the week to see how things are going and confirm. And I was like, that's really unusual. Like, most guys don't do this, and this is super intentional. And so I was like, okay, that sounds good.
So we met and went to dinner, and then after dinner we went to this like cool coffee shop bar thing, and it was like an 8-hour date. It was long. Like, we talked a lot. I remember driving home back from Austin back to San Antonio and thinking like she's really good for me.
There was always this consistency of this is how I feel, this is my intention. I was never left in the dark about where he was with things. I felt understood effortlessly for the first time. And I was also allowed just to sort of be myself, be me. It was this slow, I'm sharing my heart with you, and I can trust you with my heart because of how you've handled it. And that's still who he is.
It was just under 5 months till we got engaged. I proposed at the end of May, which was Memorial Day weekend, and then a week later moved up to Oklahoma. Being engaged and living apart 8 hours was not fun. All the perceived control that you feel that you have, which no one does,
yeah.
But you feel like you have it, is very, very quickly taken away.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really puts in perspective though what's really important.
It changed my heart a lot into letting go of just life and control or perceived control, or wanting to plan things.
Finally, we said we can't just sit here and let you suffer. And our doctor was like, well, I think you'll do really well in a dry environment. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move you to Colorado. And so we moved her out there with the thought of hopefully in a few months I will be able to follow. And that did not happen. That was just really hard. Even though I knew we were doing the right thing, this is hard decision, but it has to be made. But it didn't make it fun.
There's a lot of growth happening, but it's I just at times I don't know how we're gonna make it through this season. You're in an isolated place trying, your whole job is to be disciplined and heal, and you have no support system. So for me, it was a very mentally dark time. It's just God, what are you doing?
We moved back in March and COVID was just starting. I was very busy at work, really, really long days. And so I would spend the weeks down there and then come up here on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then COVID really ramped up. And then we spent another month apart because it was just this big
know anything about COVID.
Unknown of COVID.
And he's around all these people. It was really hard because I'm supposed to be in this place with him, but instead we're apart again.
But then, May-ish, we were okay, we can see each other. And then we're this is stupid, I'm just gonna commute. And so I moved up here full-time, I think, May-ish.
Yeah. This is the longest period of time that we've lived somewhere since...
It's 2016, 2017.
Yeah, that we've lived in one place.
And it's been stable. This whole vow renewal, we wanted to do this because of the journey we've been on over these 5 years, and reflecting on our vows that we wrote and said when we got married. Looking at mine, I'm I don't know how I wrote those vows, and because of how true they are. I said them and I meant them. I didn't understand fully how you really have to live out those vows.
There's something really powerful in thinking back on what's happened and the commitment that you made and the covenant that you made and why you did that and who that person is too, because it's easy to lose sight.
I told Nicole when we were dating, divorce is not an option. That's just something in your mind. It's just not. Even when things are hard, it's you just lean in more and continue to love. It's all you can do sometimes.
As much as we say, like, oh, I know what I'm signing up for and I know this person, it's like you really don't. And so it's sort of this blind faith that you make in a way, like based upon these things that I know about this person and I'm making this commitment. And so now that we've lived a lot of life, it's more meaningful because you know what you're actually committing to.
When you get married, you say vows, but I feel like we've really lived them out over these past 5 years. You know, like, oh, sickness and health, but like, no, but for real, like when the chips are down, like what do you do? And so we've really had to live out what we said, because you can't know about marriage until you do it, so you don't really know what you're saying. And now it has so much more meaning and significance because we've had to live it. Nicole, my love, 5 short years ago, we both took vows to always love and stand by each other in good times and in bad. I could not have imagined how we would live out those vows or the journey we have been on and how it has brought us closer together. As I have reflected on the vows we took 5 years ago and how we have lived out those vows through all the hardships of the past 5 years, I cannot put into words how proud I am of you for being so strong, for being the bedrock of our marriage, and always being so supportive of me even when I fall short. You have made my life better and more fulfilled since the day we met. You are more perfect for me in more ways than you'll ever know. Even with all the challenges of the past 5 years and all the challenges on the horizon, I can't wait to see what God has for us and our lives together. 5 years ago, I made 6 vows to you. I promised to always love you, care for you, and forgive you in good times and bad. I'm brought to tears when I reflect on how our love seemed to be the only thing that brought us through mold, living apart, what seemed like endless moves, and how through all of it we kept loving each other. I promised to be your best friend. I can't think of anyone I would rather explore the world and experience life with. I promised to make you laugh. Mission accomplished. I promised to hold you when you cry or had a bad day. There have been more tears in these 5 years than I could have thought or imagined, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I promise to put you and our future family first. The future is uncertain, but I can't wait to see what God has for us. I know He will bless us even when we step out of the perceived job security of the military. I'm so excited for adventure of our next chapter in life together. I promise to make God the center of our family and to do my best to lead in a way that glorifies Him. I pray that I can continue to grow as the spiritual leader of our house and thank Him every day for you and our partnership and patience in this journey together. 5 years ago, I said these words. I didn't fully understand just how true and meaningful they were then, but we've lived them out every day, so I wanted to vow them to you again. I look forward to our future together, to traveling and experiencing all life has to offer with you. I know there will continue to be challenges that will not always be easy, but I want to face it all, the good and the bad, with you and no one else. You are the best partner that anyone could ask for, and I can't wait to grow old with you. But most of all, I'm so glad I married you, and I can't wait for forever with you. You have my heart until the day I die. I love you. Your husband, Josh.
Josh, I've been thinking about this day and moments for months now, reflecting on the initial commitments we made 5 years ago, along with the challenges, valleys, and joys we've shared. In many ways, today is more meaningful to me than our wedding day. We aren't making a commitment blindly, rather fully aware of each other's faults and strengths, recommitting to one another with a full understanding and knowledge of what marriage actually means. I want to start by reflecting on the past. Thank you for living out your vows. You never cease to amaze me in your patience, understanding, and desire to be the best husband and person God has created you to be. You've never given up or walked away from any situation. Through each phase, you've been my biggest cheerleader and source of support, always letting me be my true self. Thank you for making me laugh and smile when I need it most, doing your best to bring joy to everyday life. This brings me to the present. In this time of so many unknowns, you always have us stop and smell the roses. You keep me laughing and loving life. Thank you for cleaning the house, running errands, and handling all the household items while I'm away doing what I love most. You always welcome me home with open arms, ready to take care of me in the most loving way. I remember telling you early on when we were dating that I didn't think life would be normal or cookie cutter, nor did I want it to be. You echoed those sentiments. I believe God was preparing our hearts even then for the story we've lived thus far and what's to come. In the many more years to come, I promise to continually work to be patient and understanding, extend grace, be patient in giving you your space to process and grow, believe in you, your dreams and aspirations, push you outside your comfort zone, to grow with you no matter the season of life. Above all, I promise to embrace the story God has for us individually and together. I believe we've lived out the following quote that was shared at our wedding. Make your love story one worth telling, one worth living, as long as you both shall live. I believe our love story is just that because of God. Let's embrace our love story and make it worth telling. I love you more than I ever thought possible. Love you, Nicole. I think Colorado represents a life that we never thought we would get to live. There's a lot of fear attached to that as well, and a lot of sadness, but it's also a place of just possibility.
I'm excited because there's more freedom. We get to determine where we live. There's more opportunity, career-wise and everything for me. But I also know that all those plans that we have, it's not going to work out exactly the way we expect. But I'm excited to see what God has for us.
God calls us into different seasons of life to live our story in different ways. And so our story right now is to be here. My mission is to do my job, and Josh is supposed to be in the military. And so to very much be present here and now with the intention of moving, but also knowing that that can change.
There's uncertainty, and I get stressed sometimes with it because you want to try to control and plan, but I ultimately know that he's in control and his plan for us is greater. What we plan sounds great, but what he has for us I know is even greater.